Hi guys, it's Penelope in London. What we're doing is looking firstly at my chart, and then we're going to look at the collective chart, which is the chart of today. And what I want you to be aware of, if you are new to astrology, then you can go to astro.com here, and you can put in your details and you'll get a chart like this. And then if you get a subscription with astro.com, I think it's not too expensive. You can put in up to 1,000 charts. So it's a really good thing. I think maybe they do 100 for free. Like you can hold 100. I can't recall, but maybe worth checking that out as well. So you can do your friends and family. But you do need the time of birth, because without the time of birth, you're not going to know the rising sign. And if you don't know the rising sign, then you don't know where what houses the planets are falling in. So time of birth is really important, and place and date as well, clearly. So what we have is on the inside of the chart of my natal planets, all the way around here, these are aspects that define the meaning, and the houses, you know, the areas of life of where things are happening and what they mean. And then the aspects are showing us, you know, the tension, the ease, and the trine, and the sextile, and the semi-sextiles. And then we've got something here called biquintals. But you can see here, all of this up here is transposed down here. I know it's small, but you can do this. If you're looking at your chart, you can expand, you know, and see a bit closer what's going on there. So you've got all of the planets there. And for instance, I've got my sun is conjunct my Mercury. You can see that little thing there. It's a conjunct to Mercury. So look, my sun is conjunct here. There is a conjunction, though it's weak, and then it's conjunct to the North Node and Mars as an example. Then let's get to this chart of today in a couple of minutes. So then on the outside of the chart, you've got the transits at the moment. And the chart that I'm going to go over to now will show these transits and the houses they're in. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. And here you can see the planets that were on the outside of my chart are all here. And this is the chart, the collective chart of today. So if we look at what's going on, we can see we've got some squares, we've got some trines going on to the North Node. That's our life path. The North Node moves around the chart this way, and the other planets move around this way. So if we look, we've got Pluto, birth, death, transformation. We've got Saturn, short, I'm giving you short descriptions here, very short. You've got Saturn, which is restriction, and it's to do with, you know, the public as well. It holds the 10th house. We've got Venus, which is to do with our inner needs when it's in Taurus, and in Libra, it's to do with other, so Venus. And then we've got Jupiter, which is to do with expansion, and also it can, you know, the not so great side of it can be grandiosity or dogma. But also we got the sun, which is our sun sign. We have Mercury, which is retrograde at the moment. You can see this little symbol here. And Mercury is retrograde. It's 20 degrees. It's going to go back. I can't recall the exact, well, have a look on this chart. I can't recall off the top of my head what number. I think it's going back to 11 degrees, but we'll look exactly. Then we've got Mercury's communication. It's some short travels. It's to do with siblings. It's to do with emails and, you know, text messages and all forms of communication and local communication. We have Neptune, which is beyond this realm, things that is unknown, what we can't see, like we can't see COVID as an example. And that would be one thing we can't see, but we know that it exists. And so also when we sleep, we dream, but where, you know, there's a lack of something we can't see when we're dreaming as well. In the sense that we, you know, we feel like we're in a different world in our dream state. Then we have Chiron, which is the wound. Also, Neptune is to do with illusion and disillusionment as well. As it moves through a chart, it will, you know, basically dissolve the illusions. It's known as a dissolver as well, dissolving things. And then we've got here Chiron, which is the wound. And Chiron is to do with our hypersensitivity at birth and our imprints and the imprint that we bring into the world. And then we have to work that out as we move through life. We have, I won't go, Eris, E-R-I-S, and Eris is the goddess of discord. This takes 560 years to move around the chart. It moves so slowly. Then we have Uranus, which is to do with long-term memory. And it's to do with, moments. It can be shocking, and it can also be where we have a light bulb moment, like, genius type moments. Then we have Black Moon Lilith, which is the shadow. And then we have Mars, which is to do with our direction in life and the way we move through. So it's part unconscious, because with Mars in the unconsciousness, will be impulsive. So with Mars, we will know our direction, but then we might get a bit angry, or we might get overexcited or whatever. So Mars is our direction, and the North Node is this path. Then also we got here the Moon, which is our emotions and feelings. A lot more than that, but to give you an idea. So what's going on for the week ahead? We got the Sun conjunct Mercury. So the Sun is up here with Mercury, and Mercury's going retrograde. It's going to cross over the Sun probably overnight, actually. Let's go a day ahead. We got days, and then it's going to go, there you go. It's going to go over between the 8th and 9th, and then it's going to go backwards further. So the Sun is, when it's conjunct, it's basically makes us subjective and creative, and it's also where we can be artistic and we can perform, like, feel like we want to stand up and be on stage and be seen. And it's where we can be intellectual, and also our thinking is very subjective, and it can lack objectivity, this symbolism. So it means that we can lack objectivity when the Sun is on with Mercury, and the Sun's squaring Mars. So if we look at the Sun and we look at Mars at the moment, the Mars is here and it's coming out of a square, actually, but this can give us a lot of strength and the ability to work for things that we want, and it can make us take unnecessary risks, though. So we have to watch out. This is moving off because the Sun will keep moving forward, and the Sun moves faster than Mars. And it's where we can be, selfish as well. This can cause selfishness when we have this Sun Mars thing going on. The Sun with Jupiter. So if we look, the Sun is here and it's moving away from Jupiter. If we go back one day, it's moving off and it's separating. But this can bring us success, and widen our horizons. And, but it can bring vanity as well. But it means that we're aware of our successes as well. So we've been going through that a bit, maybe individually. You'd have to look at where this is in your own chart. For me, this is going through my 3rd house currently in my own chart. The Moon, and with Uranus, the Moon moves quite quickly, but that's harmonious, and we need emotional independence with this. With the Moon, when it's trine or conjunct, we do want to basically lead an unconventional life, and we don't want to really be being told what to do. So again, the Moon will move off that as it goes. The Moon does move quite a number of degrees every day. It takes 2.5 days through a sign. And then Mercury squaring Mars, and remember it's going, you see here it's applying. So we got Mars here, and we've got Mercury up here, which is going, it's going retrograde. So it's going to meet again, and it's applying at this time, and it can make us impatient and also quarrelsome and give us a strong personality, because we also usually do not have good, it's more difficult to have good relationships with others when this is going on. So you want to look, and also actually for me, that Mars is squaring my natal, that Mercury is squaring my natal Mars at the moment, and my natal Mercury and my natal North Node. So it's given me a run for my money, I have to say, the last week, and with issues that I've had to deal with. And then also, this can make us be quick thinking and practical as well. And then we got the Venus conjunct Jupiter. So when we look at Venus, is to do with our needs, and this is applying. Venus is moving towards Jupiter, and this can make us, be generous, and also, but it can make us want to expect the same type of behavior from other people, which doesn't always happen, hey, if that's for real. And then we sometimes we might require material support from others with this as well. And as this moves forward, so some of us may be feeling that we need some material support right now, because so many people they've gone on government benefits and whatever. They've had no choice. You know, I don't know about America, but particularly in the UK, and it's very difficult for people to make ends meet, yet people have been forced into not working, which is very difficult. With Venus conjunct Saturn, it's, you know, this can make relationships quite difficult and rather unstable, because when we don't feel very trusting, and also we might feel like we want to work on the problem, but you know, it makes love hard, actually. This it's crossed over, but we may all have found that the last week with relationships has been quite difficult, as if we go back and we look at that, it was the 6th of February, a couple of days ago, but that would have been applying for a few days prior. And then we go forward, we can see that, you know, we've got this conjunction. So also, you know, it's not just convention and social rules as well, to do with convention and social rules. So then we got the Mars square Jupiter. I mean, I could run through each of these, but I think what we need to be looking at ultimately is that we do have all of this tension with Saturn, Venus and whatever hitting Mars down here. So when we begin to look at this, we can see that we're struggling with each other, you know, generally with Mars, but we do have Mars sextile Neptune, and this is harmonious, and it makes us, you know, it can be a bit fantasy though, and make us a bit artistic through this time. So Mars, when it's sextile to Neptune, you can see here, we got Mars and it's sextile to Neptune here, and it's applying because as it moves through, it's going to actually, this will move out of sextile. Let me see here. That will be a sextile in, you know, it's got 3 degrees to go, but it's moving, it's applying. And it can make us a bit impractical though, like we want to get on with things, but Neptune is a bit out there and other realm. And also we've got Jupiter conjunct Saturn. You know, if Saturn is, you know, when it's dominant, when Saturn is dominant, it may, where we basically form binding relationships and teach others. And if Jupiter's too dominant, then, you know, the energies of Saturn are suppressed. So it can jump around with this particular thing going on here. But we can say that Jupiter takes 12 years to move around the chart, and Saturn takes 29 and a half. So Jupiter will be moving off. And then later in the year, Jupiter will go retrograde, but then also Saturn will go retrograde. The first planet going retrograde, we've had a Mercury go retrograde, but the next planet going retrograde will be Pluto, and that will be in April. And I'll make a video on that. Saturn square Uranus is applying, and this is a big one that people are talking about in astrology, in the astrology world. And it's basically where people can have no principles, and there can be chaos. So, but it is possible for us also to have a, you know, a developed sense of order, but it's not acceptable to other people. So we might want to have order, but, you know, like the government may want us to be orderly, or we may want the government to be more orderly, as an example, with their lockdowns or whatever, and it can just be chaos, and it can create you know, it's where logic can be too rigid sometimes, and also where we may look down on other people. So we have to watch this. And then we got the nodes squaring Neptune, and I just want to look when these are moving off, because these nodes are causing a lot of confusion for us. You see the nodes here, there's a square, and then we'll look at that Mercury. So watch these nodes, 18, we want this moving off and it's applying, but as these nodes move off, we're going to get some clarity. So let's see, I think I'm going to go by weeks because the nodes move slowly. So 18, 16, 15, and I'd say by maybe 13, you know, it's moved off, but it's applying. The north node is applying to Neptune, and then the south node is moving off. This is the resolution node. So at some point, probably later in the year, we're going to have more clarity about what we're doing as humanity. But we must then look towards that the node, the definition of that node, will be meeting up with Neptune. And then we'd also take into account that all of these planets are going to be hitting we're going to be hitting that North Node. So if we go back weeks and we go back to 2nd of March, 23rd of Feb, so let's take this to the 9th of February. We can see that also that Mars will be moving over the North Node as well. So maybe there's something about direction there. I mean, who knows? But we definitely need some change. This is for sure. So then look at this Mercury before I end this chat today. So if you look at Mercury here, this is the 9th of February. So let's go days ahead and I'll show you Mercury. Mercury is going to go retrograde and we're going to see it go back 1, 2, 3. So then it's 15 degrees, 1, 2, 3, back again. It's 13 degrees. Then it's going to go back to 12 retrograde. And then it's going to go, we rewind, review and release in this retrograde. This is what we're doing on our, but you know, we can still do what we need to do, but we're basically running over something. So then it stations. And then if we go forward, then it goes direct again. And then it keeps moving through. And then it will be in, you know, it'll move into Pisces on the 16th of March. You can see that, or actually the 15th of March, time dependent on where you are. So that's it for today. If you need any help understanding astrology, let me know. And any comments, leave them in the box below. Catch you later.